Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to check out a game, MegaLoot. I am running the game at 2x speed in the video, just because otherwise the video would be 3 hours plus long. I picked this guy here. I'm going with, it looks like crit chance, physical damage, and extra attacks. Probably going to be the main thing. So crit chance is the top row there. I'm kind of wanting to make sure I get an extra attack here in the beginning is what I'm looking for. So crit chance, crit damage, and then bonus attack. This is what I settled on. I am playing with the 2 extra trials to get bonus loot on floors 5 and 7. Makes the early game a little bit harder. It's not too much of a problem, so I usually just go with it. Starting out, I just try to pick up some stuff with some attack. Attack these guys because they like to multi-hit. The early game is just pretty straightforward. Get some weapons, get some attacks in, make sure you have a little bit of armor. My guy is allowed to have 2 weapons instead of 1. Right now I'm not focused too much on what the set is, just trying to get armor and weapons. Here you'll see I switch out with a new weapon to get additional total attacks. Because it's got the wings, it takes up a additional set type as it has the wings, but it doubles your total attacks. Now the common piece here does not take part of your set limit, so it's just a free piece of gear that you can equip. And gives you that little bit of extra health early on. Here I just focus on getting my gear a little bit better, staying within the limits of the sets that I have right now. Getting the lower tier pieces so I can level them up. As you see, you can level them up and then you get the higher tier pieces. So if I get another green helmet, I'll be able to make a purple helmet, like you'll see right here. So this ability is amazing. The Edge of Death lets you not die in the first round. Usually lets you coast through the early game pretty safely. Now here for your dismantles, the first few is going to be hard to find something worthwhile. You usually want to find percentile stuff. So I end up just taking the max health and overheal. It's not the greatest choice, but you know, until you get to the later stages and you have better gear options to choose from, you just kind of want to pick stuff that can get to you. Normally I go for like percent lifesteal, percent health, percent armor. Here you'll see I switched out my weapon, getting rid of one of my set types, allowing me to put in gold. Now this Orion set, I'm going to be running this set for quite some time. The common set, the warrior set, because my character is a warrior, I can equip it without it taking part of my set bonus, which is another very useful ability to have, and it adds additional attacks. So as you'll see here, I'll be switching over to this Orion set fairly shortly. Kind of comparing the armor versus the extra attack. Do I want survivability or do I want to be able to kill faster? Right now I'm killing just fine, so I'm going to go with the survivability. Now I finally got a gold ring, which adds bonus lifesteal. So I'll start picking those up to tier them up for dismantling. Now I am leveling up my warrior set at the same time, just because sometimes I will switch back out between the two when needed. If one becomes a better option than the other. here's where I put in the bonus to lifesteal, which allows me to heal based on physical damage. And since I have overheal, you'll see I can go from 26 all the way up to 20 or 47 health just by attacking. See, now's where I'm contemplating. Do I switch out the gold with the lifesteal to get more damage? Or do I keep the extra defense? So because some items have multiplicative damage based on the number of gold pieces you have, sometimes it's more better to use those sets versus the other. I'll usually end up going with Orion's anyways over the gold set just because I find it to be a better set. Especially when you start getting like the necklace and the helm and the chest piece to go with it. It just scales so much better. The game has a kind of smart loot system. So if you have a few pieces of the Orion set, when you re-roll your marketplace down there, you have a higher chance of getting more gold and of that set. So what you keep in your inventory does directly affect what you're gonna roll. See, that's what I really want there, that ring. So that ring is gonna give me a ton of health, especially as it starts leveling up. You'll see I'm also holding onto the rings for bonus percentile power. Scales your damage up really well as well. So I gained almost 30 health by just upgrading that ring. And my overheal is now up in the 106, almost double. So now is where I've fully given up on the gold set. Keeping only the rings just for salvage material. And I put in this ring because I want, oh here, I can upgrade it. I want that extra max health. Now, the cost to re-roll your shop resets after each wave. So typically you want to do 1 to 3 rolls per wave. So you're not blowing through all your gold, but you're still cycling through items looking for what you need. Don't save up and then be like, oh, well, I'm just going to roll 20 times on one wave. You're better off, you know, getting through and doing one roll here, one roll there. Oh, there we go. So that common Orion's core is going to add a ton of health. Now the only reason I'm not switching out the helmet typically is because of the passive, but I elected to stay. I'm not typically dying, so the passive isn't that big of a deal. I will be switching out this helmet eventually for my primary helmet once I get to it. Now these pants were interesting. So they don't have a set piece and they have agility. So I'm gonna probably not use them right now because I like my armor set. But at some point later on in the mid to late game, armor starts becoming irrelevant on your character. And you can't dismantle it. So I'm going to hold on to that and level it up. And just see about using it for its agility. Now I haven't played with electricity or malice yet. I've considered putting them into my build. I just haven't had a need for them. I do so much damage that there's no point in my late game build at the moment. So I'm still dismantling for health, and I'm kind of focusing on overheal, just because with the lifesteal I had in the early game and the damage I'm doing now, even if they attack through my armor or ignore armor, I'm still able to survive quite a bit. You'll notice that ring there has lifesteal as well, so I'm going to start focusing on those meat set rings. They're really powerful rings. Now, there are some enemies in the game you gotta watch out who you're attacking because they will kill you if you just attack them without looking. I think I'll be running into them here shortly. Because for the most part, I'm paying more attention to the shop than I am to what mobs I'm actually attacking. 60% power or 30% lifesteal, 14 overheal. So I'm going to put that in for now. So now do I want to give up combat and armor for attacks? Typically not. I'm already doing enough damage to kill most of the things in the row each round. So there's no point in trying to get more. Back and forth debating on whether I want the survivability or if I want the stats. .30% lifesteal and more overhealing. This is the guy right there. If you attack him, like right here, if you attack him, he will just ricochet all the damage back at you. You can either just pass turn, or you can just wait and attack a different monster if he's not the only one. Eventually, I will get a couple items that just let me ignore his mechanic, but I have not gotten to them yet. And I'll point those out once I do get them. So now you'll notice I'm rocking 7 pieces of the Orion set with an Orion weapon, which is really allowing me to scale my damage. And it'll be a while before I probably replace quite a few of those. Throw in 120% power, just because it scales the best. Kind of going through making sure I'm not missing any pieces. So that gave me a very large boost to my overall damage. The common ring of power is a good one to keep just because it's decent power for salvaging. There's the helmet. So receive 0 damage on the first turn. With that, it doesn't matter if I attack that guy who bounces my damage back at me. On top of that, I'm starting to earn Dazzle, which, when you get enough of it, will start stacking your armor to insane proportions. So you'll see here, I'll start picking up Dazzle items in the hope that the shop will keep providing me with more and more options for Dazzle. And there's a Dazzle weapon. So I'll put in some lifesteal for now and get the overheal. Take the Dazzle weapon because it has the bonus attacks and it provides Dazzle. So it'll scale with the helm. And you'll notice I go from having like 1.3k armor to start up to over 2k armor. When you get to the late game, this is going to get ridiculous. At one point, in a previous run, I had over 1 billion armor. I still lost because I wasn't doing enough damage, and the enemy ended up attacking my health directly instead of... Oh, here I got a multi-attack potion. This is huge. So for the first round, all my attacks will hit all the enemies. And as you'll see here, as soon as I continue going again, I will literally be clearing like everything in one turn. So now I'm going to start building Dazzle. Oh, no. Let's get some extra health. Everything dies in one round, except for the guy who can reflect damage back at me, which I take 0 damage because of my helmet, but it does mean I have to wait an extra turn to be able to clear the entire thing. So now I don't really want to give up my Orion set quite yet. So most of my Dazzle items that I'm getting, like this ring, I'm going to just dismantle it. So it's going to over double my Dazzle to 384. Keep leveling up my weapons. Trying to make inventory room available. Purification potions are always nice, just in case you get hit with a status ailment. So at this point, the 20% dodge outweighs the armor and the little bit of damage from Orion's. Because of my dazzle, I scale up my armor so high that I'm not worried about having an extra piece of gear in there. That is the Orion set, and I can switch it out for the dodge. See that necklace there? The necklace is huge. It adds 340 dazzle times the number of pieces that you have. So not only is it really good to wear, but it also goes really well into dismantling. See, I'm just combining my stuff to tier upgrade my current equipment, because I'm pretty content with what I have for the pieces of gear. I'm gonna go with the health here just because I'm thinking to myself, I can probably level up that ring and save myself a deposit with it. And you'll see there I locked that ring in my shop. What that lets you do is it lets you roll the other 3 items without rolling that 4th item, so it'll keep the ring there. So there I upgraded the ring to put in before I salvaged it. Now my dazzle's up to 1700. So my 1.9k is almost going 10x depending on how many times I hit, and I'm not worried about the first round because I can't take damage anyways. So if I don't kill everything, I have enough armor health to survive into round 2. Alright guys, well I hope these tips were helpful for you for surviving the first 20 floors. I will release the rest of the video when I start, probably tomorrow or the next day. I have all the way up to floor 80, and then floor 80 to 90 the footage got lost. And I'm currently sitting there, and I will continue the journey from there. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a like, comment, and I'll be happy to answer what I can. Drop a subscribe if you want to see the future episodes as they release. And after the end of floor 20 here, the video ends, so I'll catch you next time.